Hello, geometry students. For Mr. Fry, we're looking at right triangle congruence proofs. And let's take a look at this first one right here. I think you guys did this in class. I was not in class today because I had to make videos for other classes. So if BC, that's the hypotenuse, is congruent to EF, and BA is congruent to AD. If you have a hypotenuse and a leg that's congruent, then the triangles are congruent by the hypotenuse leg congruence theorem. So you just put HL. So taking a look at this one, I think you guys did this in class. You have these givens, given, and then you have the reflexive. MP is congruent to MP, that's reflexive. And then you have the triangles congruent to each other. You could just put HL. I think you just put HL there, hypotenuse leg. I wrote the word congruence there also. I went a little different route on this one. I have, the givens. And then I have WX is congruent to YX because of midpoint. So WX and YX, these two, because in the given it said that X was the midpoint of WY, so that means these two parts are congruent. And this isn't a leg, and this is not a leg. Let's see. So that's why, and that's why I went the direction I did. Vertical angles. So this angle and this angle, so angle VXW and ZXY, VXW and ZXY, I have to name it that way because that's the correct direction, because Z matches with V and W matches with Y. Those two angles are vertical. So I have these two triangles as angle, angle, side, because we have two angles and a side. Two angles and a side. It did tell us that VW is congruent to YZ in a given. And then we have the midpoint. So I guess we didn't even really need to use that. We could have just went straight to the reason that they're congruent is hypotenuse leg. The hypotenuse, okay, yeah. Because we do have the hypotenuse that is congruent to one another because of midpoint. And then we could have said that, well, both of these are congruent because we have a hypotenuse and a leg that is congruent to one another. So we could have gone that route too. And that's probably what the way that they wanted you to go. So you could have, you didn't have to do this vertical. We had the given, they're congruent because of midpoint. You could have just went straight to this is congruent to that, and you could have just said HL right there. All right, sorry about that lengthy explanation, but because that worksheet was working with hypotenuse leg, they probably want you to work with hypotenuse leg. Well, anyways, you could have just shown you another way that you could have proofed it out. So taking a look at these, we have ASA. I'm just going to do the odd ones. You could do the even ones. If you make mistakes, don't worry about it. Learn from it, move on, and you're growing. So I have angle, side, angle that are congruent. They're going to be the same. They share the side, so that's how it's congruent. Angles and a side. So we have two angles and a side. So we have angle, angle, side. I can't, not possible to prove that these are, even though that these would be vertical. Remember, we do not use ASS. That's a big no-no, nasty. Okay, number 7, we have side angle, side angle, side, where the angle is in between the sides. Okay. This would be hypotenuse leg. Okay, so we have the hypotenuse and we have a leg. That's congruent, so we're good with that, those two. This one is not possible because we know that these angles are and the side is, but so that's all we have. We just have an angle and a side. So, we would need another side or another angle. in the right position to help us prove that one. Okay, looking at these on congruent triangle proofs, we have some mixed ones. I'm going to do the odd ones. You can take a look at, I just repeated the given. And then ML is congruent to PL because of midpoint. KL is congruent to NL because of midpoint. And I marked them up here. And then these angles are congruent because of vertical. So these are vertical. So we have side, angle, side. So naming them properly, making sure each letter is corresponding with the appropriate letter, and side, angle, side. Take a look at number 3. Hopefully you're pausing this as you go. There are 3 things that are given there. And then QS is going to be congruent to SU because of midpoint. QS and SU. So we have 3 sides that are congruent. So the triangles in correct order are congruent because of side, side, side. Moving on. My last example, and hopefully helpful example. We have these statements. Oh, I don't know why I repeated congruent. That's why I was confused when I was doing it. I actually was, because I was like, why did I repeat that? And okay. Anyways, this is parallel. KL is parallel to NP, and that's given. And KL is congruent to PN, and that's given. Okay. So these two are congruent and they're parallel. So I drew the little arrows. That told me that this angle and this angle and this angle and this angle, because of alternate interior angles inside of parallel lines, are going to be congruent. So I have 2 alternate interior. That's abbreviation for alternate interior. So these two, KLM and PNM. So KLM, this one, and PNM, this one. That's why they have 1 mark in each. Those are alternate interior angles, and then this angle and this angle is also alternate interior angles, and that would be, I named it LKM and NPM. So now you notice we have angle, side, angle. So we have angle, side, angle. The triangles are congruent. Okay, hopefully this helps, and good luck with the rest.